Alright, so if we look over here, SWBA over on Trooper Tide Tuesday on Honors Geometry. What's SWBA stand for?
Students will be able to.
Students will be able to. The T is just silent. Jota, jota, jota. Name, measure, and classify angles, section 1.4. Name, measure, and classify angles, section 1.4. And then it's possible, actually, we'll get into section 1.5 and then get a bit of head start there as well, okay? So because we already started 1.4, there's a good chance we'll be getting a head start on 1.5 a little bit as well, okay? So when we're on angles, okay, I believe we're on the second page of the notes. Starts off on a half page, the bottom half of the page. I finished up those discussion questions that we did not do, okay? So we went through, we did this half page, so we flipped it, talked about how to name angles, blah, 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 blah. Then we said, okay, let's identify and then answer all these questions about these angles here. So we did that, okay? And then I believe this is where we left off, correct? I'm seeing some head nods, that's good, that's Gucci, okay? So angles are measured in units called degrees. We measure angles in a unit called degrees. So we can say, so many degrees, so an angle could be 80 degrees, okay? It's not talking about temperature, how hot or cold it is, okay? That's talking about how wide or narrow that angle is, okay? Talking about wide or narrow, okay? Angles are measured using a tool called a protractor. They're measured using protractors, okay? It's like you're supporting farmers. Protractors, okay? Get it? I think it's pretty clever. Okay, good talk. Okay. And I do have a bunch of protractors over here that I'll be passing out a little bit. Okay? And you guys are free to laugh at my jokes, so that protractor one is good. Okay? Thank you.
No, it wasn't.
Okay? Rude.
Whatever you say to make yourself sleep.
Okay. So then we have this this blank spot. Blank blank have the same measure. Congruent angles have the same measure. Congruent angles have the same measure. Just like we had congruent segments, and those have the same length, same measure. Okay, we'll have the same thing with angles. Two angles can be congruent if they have the same measure. So they're both 43 degrees, then they are congruent. But if one's 43 and one's 44, they're not congruent. Okay, does that make sense?
Sure.
So, okay, let's talk about 4 different classifications of angles we'll have. 4 different classifications of angles we'll have, okay? So we have right, straight, acute, and obtuse, okay? So right angle is exactly what measure? Does anyone know? 90 degrees, right? Okay, so it's exactly 90 degrees. And then a picture we could draw of this, okay? It look like this. Now, do we know if my drawing's perfect? No, if anything, it's probably not perfect because it's mine, okay? So what do we mark there? We said when something's perpendicular, okay? Carly just kind of drew it in the air. We draw a little box there, and that shows that it's a 90-degree angle or a right angle, okay? It's not saying it's like right and wrong, but just it's a right angle. Okay, questions on the right angle? Gucci gang. Okay, straight angle. So the straight angle is exactly 180 degrees. Very good. Be exactly 180 degrees, okay? So we're really going to have 2 drawings for this one. Because it could just look like that. It ends up just really looking like a line, doesn't it? Although we do know it's really made up of 2 rays, because an angle is made up of 2 rays meeting at a vertex. Okay. Another way you could draw it is it could be shown like this, and you can have some sort of split in the angle. You can have some sort of split in the angle there, to where you can see this angle here and this angle here, but they still make that straight line together. Okay. So straight angle will make a straight line together. Questions on that? Okay. Acute angle, okay? This isn't just something that you think is good looking, okay? But it is between, it measures between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. It measures between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. It can't be 90 degrees because then it would be what kind? A right angle, right? It can't be 0 because then it's not an angle, okay? So it has to be at least like 0, 0, 0. It has to be like 0.00001, for example, or bigger, up to like 89.9999999. Okay. So the way you could write it is that x has to be greater than 0, but it has to be less than 90. Okay, you can write it like that if you wanted to. You're saying the measure of your angle x has to be greater than 0, but it has to be less than 90. So we're saying it's between it. It's just another way of saying this. Okay. So an example of an acute angle could look like this. And I would say that's probably about a 40-degree angle or so, maybe 50. So because it's somewhere between 0 and 90, though, it's an acute one. Once again, it's not just saying it's good looking. Okay, obtuse angle. Okay, obtuse angle. Okay. So an obtuse angle is between. Any guesses? 90 and 180. It's between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. It's between a right angle and a straight angle, okay? So then we can write this as well. We're saying x, the measure of the angle, is greater than, not 0, but greater than 90, but it's less than 180, somewhere between those two numbers. And as long as it's between those two numbers, it's one of those angles, okay? And then you will talk about, and if you guys go on to pre-calc, you guys will talk about angles that are more than 180, but before then we just really won't talk about them, okay? They're not of concern to us at this point. So, I go with that. I'm Mr. Consul. It is a pleasure to meet you.
He's like me with the don't do it, don't do it.
Okay. I would say that this angle is probably around 135 degrees. Just eyeball it there. Questions? Let's flip the page. Okay. I haven't told you guys about Jaw.
No.
The story behind it.
Okay, I told you last year, not this year. Okay, I haven't told you the story behind it. Okay, let's do this next one, and then we'll do the story. Okay. So on the top of the next page, letters A through H there. Letters A through H. Mine's in a slightly different order, just so I can make them big enough so we can see. Okay. But what I want you to do is I want you to say whether or not each of these angles would be right, straight, acute, obtuse, or none of the above. Okay. So it's one of 5 options here. Okay. So for example, we'll do letter A together. 89 degrees would be which of these 5? It'd be acute, right? We say, hey, that's good looking. Okay. That's acute. Okay, because it's between 0 and 90, okay? So I want you guys to go ahead and do B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, okay? So go ahead and do those.
All of the possible options?
Yeah, there's only one for each. And you will use each one of these ones, so. I'll say that. Isn't it nice?
It's
Mm.
cool.
What are you on about? This is nice.
You should bring a jacket.
It's supposed to be like hot outside, but it's like freezing.
Bring a jacket. It is fun. You don't have to wear a jacket all day. You're allowed to remove the jacket later. Or before.
If that's a lot of work and then you have to carry it around.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
they can ruin my outfit.
Yeah, okay.
Because-
You want to just leave a jacket in here?
Oh, what if it gets stolen?
I'm just trying to provide you options here. I'll sit and work. Alright. Yeah. Did you say I thought so?
Yeah. And I was thinking like it's not to not do, but then there was
It almost always like it doesn't just fall from my ear usually though. Like when I do it, it normally stays. I drop it like when it's like in my hands or transition. You seem so perplexed. Okay. Alyssa, letter B, what do you have? I would agree, I think it's good looking. Okay. Okay. C, Sarah, what do you have?
alright.
Negative, right, very good, okay? Peyton, what do you have for D? I guys disagree. Obtuse is between what two numbers?
90 and 180. Oh. Then it'd be straight. No. Yes, none of the above. Why wouldn't it be straight?
What's straight have to be
You
exactly?
tricked me. You said you'd use all of them. You didn't
I
say
didn't.
I'm
None
getting
of-
out of this class.
None is one of the options. I helped you out by saying you would use all 5 options.
None is not. Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Well, it's in the instructions, and I said it twice.
How would you use this class again?
Yeah.
Possible?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I got the next one. I got the next one.
Okay. Peyton, what's the next one? It is obtuse. It is obtuse, okay? So it's very apparently greater than 90, because if it's 90, it'd be like this right here, okay, with it. But instead it's further, okay, and it's not quite a straight
What
angle.
if it was like 181?
Oh.
So how would you know?
Oh, like if it's like on here. It's like if like G exam, for example, is like just barely 181, we didn't know.
Yeah.
We're going based off looks on this one.
Okay. Well,
So letter F, okay, Maggie.
Yeah.
Letter F.
I'm two.
I would agree. So between 90 and 180, okay? Letter G, Justin.
Straight.
I had a straight, okay? Straight line there, okay? Carly, what is H? Right angle, very good. Okay, great work. Any questions on those? Whoop! Okay. So,
Ew.
What?
Color.
okay, yes, thank you. So, jaw. Okay, so I taught summer school, okay, at Omaha South last couple of summers, okay. And Omaha South, if you guys don't know, has a large Hispanic population, okay. And so a lot of the students there are Spanish-speaking students, and a lot of them speak both Spanish and English. Yes. And so anyway, so a lot of them are Spanish-speaking, okay. So I had them like teach me like different Spanish phrases when I was there and whatnot, like different like slang and stuff too, okay. And so. And whatnot, like we just kind of like joke back and forth and whatnot, you know, kind of like I do with you guys. You know, I joke with you every now and then. What? No. So now, like one thing I did was like whenever something like wasn't funny, instead of like actually laughing, if it wasn't funny, I just like ironically laugh at them, and so I would just say, jaw. Now, if you were to say this in Spanish, how would you pronounce that? Ha, right? Because the J is like a ha, okay? Like jalapeno is spelled like jalapeno, okay? For our English, we'd say it's spelled jalapeno, okay? But it's pronounced jalapeno, okay? So I would just say jaw, and they're like, are you laughing in Spanish? I'm like, yep. And they're like, what? Okay? And you're like, Mr. Cost, let's ruin it and
Racist.
no. Be considered, okay? You can't be racist toward a language.
Well.
A language is not a race. More than just one race speaks Spanish.
I do.
You could just say in generalization of Spanish speaking.
It'd be prejudice, not race. No, it's not. If anything, it's linguist, but I don't think that's even a term. A linguist is someone that studies language. Anyway, moving on, okay? But you might say it's rude and inconsiderate. Okay, this was a back and forth I had with all of my students throughout this. Okay, so like they were like, I would say like jaw. They would also do it with their own language. They would say like instead of de nada, like if Rowan like was like gracias when I opened the door, and they instead of saying de nada, a lot of them would say de nada, and it's like mispronounced on purpose. Okay, they would also do it with like English words as well. Okay, I can't remember an example of one. They would do it back. It's like done across multiple languages everywhere. Okay, but anyway, so jaw. So whenever I say jaw. Just know I'm ironically laughing, okay? But I'm not actually laughing. Exactly. Okay, ooh.
Oh.
So,
Boom.
yeah.
Roasted.
really, rude, okay? What? Okay, so, classify each of these angles, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4 angles, okay? And give an angle measure just up for your classification, okay? Angle ABC. vertex, okay? So it has to go A to B to C. So we're talking about this angle here. What's the measure of this angle? 70 degrees, okay? So how would we classify it? We say it's good looking. It's a Q.
Q.
I'm just thinking
J.
Yeah, you have to
Oh,
put
it looks like a
degrees.
J.
You have to put 70 degrees, okay? We measure angles in degrees, okay? Yes. It says give an angle measure to support your classification. Okay? Yeah, my arm's pretty sore. So B, letter B, angle CBD, angle C, kind of B, kind of D, okay? Raise your hand if you have an idea of what the angle measure would be there, okay? Amber, 110. How'd you get 110? Okay, so these two add up to 180 if it makes a straight line there, because a line is 180. We set up with a straight angle, okay? So that means this angle has to be 180 minus 70, which is 110. So then if it's 110 degrees, raise your hand for what the classification would be, okay, Kevin? Obtuse. It would be obtuse. Okay, I want you guys to try doing letter C and letter D on your own. I want you guys to try doing letter C and letter D on your own, okay? When you have it, I want you to raise your hand. When you have a question, I want you to raise your hand. Okay, great. You want to check? Oh, you're leaving. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Why on letter D? I agree with C. Be careful what angle I'm talking about. C, F, H. Okay. Check. Like, okay. Hey, so on letter C, okay, C, F, G, angle C to F to G. What's the measure of that one? 90. How do we know that? Because this is a straight line, straight angle added together, so it's 180. Take away the 90, you get 90 left, okay? So this is 90 degrees, and is therefore what kind of angle? A right angle, okay? Now angle CFH, C to F to H is what kind of angle? 180 degrees, so it's a straight angle. Very good. So it makes a straight line there. A straight angle? Okay. Oh, I get what you're saying. Okay. Oh, it is.
So smart, man.
Okay. I figuratively feel you, but not literally. That would be weird, okay? Let's go right below this, okay? Protractor rules! Wait, no, that's not what I was saying. It's saying rules of a protractor. Whoops. Okay. That's funny. Well, that's good wordplay.
It wasn't.
I confused Mr. Carlson. Nice to meet you.
That's not.
Actually, that's Kevin.
Well, that's not what he told me. Okay. So, protractor rules, okay? I'm going to hand these out real quick, okay? Take one down, pass it around. Lots of projections across the pencil. I'm gonna have you put Kevin. I'm gonna have you put one on. I can pass Rachel back to this row. So with this approach, let me grab it. Wait. Yes. Someone had borrowed this protractor, so I had to make sure.
Oh my.
Oh god.
That is very unnecessary.
It's confusion.
Okay. So I have a protractor too. Okay. What? No. Okay. So first rule. You always estimate the angle's measure to determine if your measure makes sense. Okay. So just like when during that warm-up question today, I asked Kevin, "Hey Kevin, is that reasonable? The answer you got, 3,5.5, because is that where it looks like on the graph?" And he said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, cool." No, we want to do that as well. So, if, like for example, if we're asking like the measure of HKM, and we get an answer like 30, is that reasonable for HKM to be 30 degrees? Heck no. Okay. So we know we did something wrong. Okay, so that's just what you do is you kind of estimate in your head, so that way you know if it makes sense, if your answer is reasonable. Okay, so you take the on your protractor. Okay, there's a hole there, right? There's a hole there.
Yep.
You take that hole and you place it over the vertex. So you place the hole, you put it over the vertex. If you need to, take your pencil and place it on there as well. Okay. So when you guys can practice that, just place it over this protractor. Bless you, must rain on half goes we forget. Okay, yours has a weird one. Okay, let me give you a different one. I don't like it. Okay? I have one on your desk for you. Yes. I'm just that nice of a guy. What? I told Kevin to put one on there. Kevin, you didn't put one on your desk?
You gave Caleb 3, I got 1, and then you told me to put 1 on Curtis.
Wait, what happened to the other one then?
You only gave me 3.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Costello, I got a whack one.
You got a whack one?
Yeah.
Why?
Because, like, I don't know where it's pointing to.
What do you mean you don't know what it's pointing to?
Like, is this what it's supposed to be?
Probably. Okay, who else need one?
It don't look like Rowan. Rowan, compare ours.
Okay, we're good.
Come on, wait. You gotta compare ours.
Alright, let's hold up a second, guys. Okay, so you'll take your protractor, you'll put it right over that vertex if you need to. Take your pencil and you put it through that hole over the vertex as well. Okay. Now, hey, I want to get this off the board so I can grab it. This is not working. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's like stuck. Anyway, weird. Now you can like flip it backwards, right? But then the numbers would be backwards, right? That doesn't make any sense. Make sure the numbers are facing the right way. Okay. That'd be nicer if your numbers are facing the right way. Okay. Now sometimes what this is saying is that sometimes your angle is not big enough. Okay, your angle is not big enough, like long enough to get to the end of the protractor. Okay. So for example, for the protractors you guys have, if you place it over this, do the angles meet this top arc of your protractor? No. Okay. So what you would have to do, is you'd have to take a straight edge of some sort. Okay, and you can use the side of your protractor to do that. Okay, you can use the side of your protractor to do that. And what you would do is you'd line the straight edge up, and you would extend your angle. Okay, my calibration's a little bit off, so I started a little bit off there. But you would extend it. Let me fix that just to show you guys a better example of it.
Fix it now.
Excuses.
So, and then you extend it to where it can reach. Okay, you extend it to where it can reach that top arc. Okay, it has to be able to hit that top arc for you to get a good measurement. Okay, you can use a piece of paper, you can use your protractor, whatever, and you extend the line. So how you do that once again is you have part of it touching this line and lining up with it, and then you continue it. So you use part of it to line up with it, and so touching it so you already know where it's going. Make sure it's consistent with the line you have. 3, the measure of the angle is the difference of the two measures given on the protractor, okay? The difference of the two measures given on the protractor. Now what this is saying is if like you're talking about measure LKJ, for example, the measure of LKJ, okay, is we would say, well, where is this at? This is at 35, between 30 and 40, halfway between would be 35, right? Okay, and 90. So we would take the difference. What's 90 minus 35? 55. So we're saying the measure of angle LKJ, letter E down here, is 55 degrees. Okay? Does that make sense how we arrived at that conclusion? Okay? So you would say for the measure of LKG, you would take the difference of those two. Okay? You say, hey, this is showing at 90 degrees. Okay? This is showing between 30 and 40, 35 degrees. Take the difference, 90 minus 35, you get 55 between the two. Okay? You can also count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55 degrees. Okay? You could also do it that way if you wanted to. Okay? Now, are we going to have to subtract on every one of these angles? Like, would you have to subtract if we did, instead of angle LKJ, let's say, for example, that we did angle LKH. Would you still have to subtract? No, why not? Because one of them's already on the 0, right? You don't need to subtract 0. Now, hey, which number would we use here? Would we use the 35 or would we use the 145? 35. Why? Because you start at 0. Okay, when you're measuring, we start at 0, and so we'd use the outside numbers in this case and not the inside numbers. Okay. Also, is this more reasonable to be 35 degrees or 145 degrees?
35.
It's much more reasonable to be 35 degrees. Okay. So, for example, here on letter A, our measure would be 35 degrees. Okay. And what would that make? What kind of angle? A cube. Okay. Now let's say I was doing an angle over here. Okay, let's say instead of doing that angle, I was doing an angle over here. Over there, I was using the inside or the outside numbers? Outside numbers. What numbers would I use here, the inside or the outside? Inside, because I'm starting at 0 again, okay? So that's just done so you can do it from either side without having to like flip your protractor around, okay? So it's just done for an easy convenience, but just make sure you're using the right ones, okay? And that's part of why that step 1 is in there, is to make sure you're using the right inside or outside, okay? So what I want you guys to do is I want you guys to practice using this on your sheet, okay? You don't have to use your physical one. You can use the one that's already printed on your notes for this. And I want you guys to do B, C, and D. Measure the angle and classify them, okay? I want you guys to do measure the angle B, C, and D there, and measure them and classify them. Once you have those three, or if you have questions on those three, I want you to raise your hand, okay? If you have those three, if you have questions on those three, I want you to raise your hand.
No, you guys are wrong. Just kidding.
You're wrong. I feel like really lazy and just doesn't line this up and then find it. You just have to extend this one out, right? Yeah, there you go. Question. Yes. Actually, I just repeat. Okay. I disagree with
My goodness. It's pretty chilly in here. I have goosebumps.
Isn't it nice?
What are you on about? It's nice.
Yeah, I feel good. It's a
I just
Right
came
here.
from basic car care, which was the same temperature as it was outside. So this is nice.
Wait, can you not,
No.
can you not open those windows at all?
Correct.
It's basically the
Why?
same temperature outside.
Security stuff.
What?
Security stuff.
No.
It better seals it up too for drafts.
I'm
Like, you have one.
No, it's
Oh, you're
it's
right.
gone.
And
You have an extra one?
Oh, I gave all mine away. People like you keep losing them.
What losers?
Right?
Like not me, but like them.
Oh, okay.
Could I be losers? I don't have one. Riley, how many goes should we do?
Hey, does anyone have a passport I can follow?
No.
Not but you.
They don't
Nobody?
Oh, James. You're a G.
James, put it away.
Yeah.
Sit down, Peyton. You're still sit down.
Jocelyn, what do you get for letter B? Angle HKN. HKN. 180 degrees. And what kind of angle is that then? Straight angle. Very good. Okay. Angle MKH. MKH. Ava, what did you have?
145.
I agree. Okay, what's the measure of that? Obtuse. Very good, okay? And then measure of angle LKM. L to K to M. Kayla, what do you have? I agree with that. 110 degrees, okay? And what measure would that make it? Obtuse, okay? Say on letter D, we're going to do that subtraction thing again, right? We're going to take 145 between 140 and 150 minus 35 over here, okay? Could we have also done this 145 on the inside minus this 35 on the inside? Plus no trace on half plus forget. Yes, we could have. Okay. Any questions on that?
That makes my
Hey,
nose.
Peyton, good luck, don't fall in. Do you guys ever like drink soda and then your nose starts like tingling? Yeah. Like Sprite? Like I don't drink soda, but like Sprite.
Why would you drink Sprite?
It's obviously superior.
Sprite soda?
Nobody likes
Yeah,
it.
it was a commercial Liliani did for Sprite for a while. It was cool when the soda song came out. Good luck.
You want Sprite cranberry?
Okay. Oh man. Kayla's on frames. Okay, moving on to the next page. Woo!
No.
Okay, find the measure of the given angles using a protractor
No.
and classify angles, okay? So I want you guys to use your protractor. This is practice right now to use your protractor, your physical protractor, to measure it out. Now, hey, are these?
My pencil.
Oh, Joe! Some of these are long enough, okay? Now, if they weren't long enough, could you guys extend it out? Okay, you could, okay? But thankfully, these are long enough right now, okay? Yeah, Kevin. Okay. So, so I want you guys to go ahead and measure these out, okay? Measure these out and then classify it as well, okay? Now, hey, is it possible that we have human error on this? Yeah. So if you guys are like within a degree, or two, I would give it to you on a test, okay? So if we're on a test and I ask you to measure an angle, if you're within a degree or two, I would give it to you.
Wait, we're doing this by ourselves.
So you put it right over the vertex. Yeah, you always put that little hole right over your vertex. Very good. And then you have to line it up. You have to line it up so it's straight with one of the angles. You do have to classify it. You get to, okay? And hey, if you finish all three, I want you to raise your hand, okay? So if anyone's within a couple of these, I'll give it to you, okay? Go on, check. Not really? Okay.
Alright.
I think these two are off, but they're close enough to bring up.
But how?
But how?
What's that? 1.9 meters.
I would call that.
Oh, hey guys, they missed me. I'm back.
We didn't miss you. Get back out.
Oh, that's an L.
Rachel. Yes. Hey, the question was just asked, hey, Mr. Fossil, okay? So our protractor has this line, okay, next to the circle, okay? You have the line that, like, straight across or with the bottom ray, okay? You would line that up with one of the rays, okay? You put it on the vertex, and you line this line up here with one of those rays, okay? You wouldn't want it just straight on like that. You want it angled with it, okay? So you want it, that way it's going against one of those. Because you want one of those rays, you want one of the rays of the two rays of the angle to start at 0, okay? It's a great question, okay? So I had to call this first one 32 degrees. Boom, okay? And then make it what kind of angle? Acute, okay? So as long as you're within a couple degrees of that, I would count it on a test or a homework problem, okay? So if you have 30, 31, 33, 34, or 32, I would count that, okay? On letter B, what do you guys think? 90 degrees. I would call it exactly 90. Now, that would make it a right angle. Now, what if I still gave that same couple degree grace, and you had 92 degrees? Would you still say it's right? No, what would you say it is if it's 92 degrees? Obtuse, okay? So if you put 92 degrees in obtuse, I'd count it correct. If you put 92 degrees in right, I'm going to count it wrong, because based on what you just told me, that's not true. Does that make sense? Okay, straight facts, okay? Okay, and then the last one, what do you guys have? 142 is what I had, okay? Obtuse, okay? So once again, if you have like 143, 144, 141, 140, okay? Any of those, I would count that, okay? If you're within a couple. I'm confused now. Mr. House, nice to meet you. What are you confused about? What are you confused about?
Okay. So that's 150. Oh wait, no, because it goes down. You guys are right.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, we know.
Okay. So continue on right below last. Woo. Exciting. Okay. Well, that's not right. What is that in the middle there? Oh. Okay. Whoops. Angle addition. Okay, you guys remember doing segment addition? That's where we said two parts make the whole, right? We say part of a segment plus part of the segment makes the whole segment. Okay, we can do the same thing with angles. Now, we just kind of did that even a little bit ago, didn't we? Okay, we totally just did that with some of our straight angles a little bit ago on the previous page, okay? So we're going to do the same thing here, okay? So in this case, we're going to say that if this angle ADB from here to here is 2x plus 10, and angle BDC is 4x minus 3, we're also going to say the whole thing, ADC, is 145. Let me highlight this and make it a little color coordinated here. So I think this will jump off the page a bit better, okay? Too bad. Okay?
It looks like you.
It looks good.
No. Not that.
That just bothered me.
That's too bad.
The way you went up with that line.
Ew.
That bothered anyone else.
Fix yourself. Oh my goodness.
Okay. So can hopefully those colors kind of help it to jump off the page and don't discuss people too much other than writing and page notes. I'm okay with this.
Just the lines, like the colors are fine. Just
No,
the
colors
lines.
are not fine. The lines are not fine. It's not fine.
So either way, we can see here that this 2x plus 10 is just this part of the angle. The 4x minus 3 is this part of the angle, and the whole thing though corresponds to that 145. Okay. Questions on how we kind of got that? Okay, it's just how it's labeled, right? Okay. Does anybody have an idea of an equation we could set up? Alyssa. I agree completely, okay? So she said 2x plus 10 plus 4x minus 3 equals 145, okay? So we do the two parts, add up to the whole thing there, okay? So it's 145, the whole, the two parts, okay? Boom, okay? So see the orange part plus the red part equals the green part, just like it did up in the picture, okay? We just do the same thing there, okay? Questions on that setup. Is this an equation you guys can solve? Okay, I want you guys to solve it and then find each of these two angles. Solve it, then find each of these two angles. Okay? Okay? After you finish that off, I want you to raise that hand of yours. Okay? Or if you have questions, I want you to raise that hand of yours. Ooh. Yeah, I guess you guys could use phones for the calculation or my scientific calculators. Yeah, how good would that have been? Are they? You don't have them.
I did, she don't care.
Let's trace it back. AV, you good? You wanna help me check? Dope.
I don't think you understand how to be allowed to Oh, the draft.
Hey, look, you learned. That's not right.
Her. Mom.
Oh, boom, boom.
Yes, you know if I'm
Yes.
Yeah, that's not right.
X, yeah. Good, plug it in, right?
Now we gotta do what?
There's no one. But that was common thing now. It's gonna be common here too. We gotta plug it in here.
Separately or together?
Separately, because we're finding each of these angles.
Are you ready for this? So I just told my mom that I was gonna go off. She said, go off where?
No, that's awesome. That's a good joke.
No.
And we set it equal to X.
Okay. My brother has a new girlfriend, right? And apparently she's coming with us to Boulder. I don't like her. And I have two friends coming with me, so she's not coming.
Wait, who's your brother's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Hey, do I set it equal to 1.5? Or just like leave it as that?
We can plug it in.
Yeah,
You can just plug it into that one and plug it to that one.
and then that's just the
We
answer.
plug it into here. Plug it in
And then
here.
that's just the answer
Those are
by
two different
itself.
answers.
Yeah.
Oh, so you think she said?
We're done with that right now. Done with that right now, guys.
Welcome for the mini rant. If you would like me to go into details, I will.
But
Dude, no. Exactly. I'm not trying to run you anywhere near you. I will.
Already. Are they talking?
Within a, no, they're dating.
close, close.
Yeah. Now you see why I won't go off, but my mom said go off where. First she calls me a donkey, and then she doesn't even understand my language.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off.
Maybe she's just making a joke.
No.
Maybe she's making a Mr. Cosmo.
What do you
Mr.
mean?
Cosmo.
What?
So like I just leave it like that.
Let's go and talk about this one up here. Okay, so we solve this, we combine like terms, 2x plus 4x is 2x plus 4x is 6x. 10 minus 3 is plus 7 equals 145, okay? So now, we want to get all of our numbers together away from the x. So 7, we need to get rid of, so how do we do that? Subtract 7 from both sides. We're left with 6x is equal to 138, okay? Then we can divide by 6 on both sides to get rid of that multiplication. And we have x end up equaling 23, okay? If you guys need a real quick crash course refresher on dividing 138 by 6, okay? Say 6 goes into 1, it doesn't. 6 goes into 13 twice. 2 times 6 is 12 minus 13 minus 12 is 1. Bring down the 8. 6 goes into 18 3 times, and it is 18, so we have no remainder. Now I said, hey, I want you guys to find x as well as these two angles. So it means we need to plug it into here and to here separately. Thank you. Okay. So plug it into the 2x plus 10, so 2 times 23 plus 10. Okay. And that ends up being 46 plus 10, aka 56. Okay, so we know the measure of angle ADB, and I would want you to write it like that, the measure of the angle, okay? Could you also call this measure of angle BDA? Yeah, you totally could. The only part mark is what letters in the middle?
Oh,
D.
how did you get the plus 10?
It's there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we're doing this one. 4 times 23 minus 3, thank you for asking though. 4 times 23 is 92, minus 3 is 89. Okay, 89. So we know that the measure of angle BDC or CDB, okay, BDC is equal to 89 degrees. And could we check our answer right now too to make sure we were correct? How could we do that? Kevin? Using a protractor, okay. How else could we check? So we use a protractor assuming our picture's accurate. Okay, Carly? Add them together, 89 and 56, and we should get 145. And we do. Okay, if we didn't, okay. Protractor, I want to talk about the protractor option, okay, if we measured it, okay. That may or may not work depending on the situation, because sometimes, a lot of times, like tests like the ACT will love to say, picture's not drawn to scale, okay? So you couldn't use that as a tool to help you, because if the picture's not drawn to scale, that won't work, okay? But it is a good idea to say, is it reasonable that this angle is 56, and that this measure is 89, just shy of right angle? Yeah, I would say those are reasonable. We can't always go off of that, but it can be a good way to kind of check, okay? Questions on that? Okay, let's put that page.
I have tea. I wish I had tea, but I need some sweet tea. I got some, like some.
I have water over there. That's
Tea's
that's
better.
neat.
Yeah, tea's good.
Cheese now.
Surprisingly, kind of matches.
Yikes. Okay, anyway, tension back up here. Okay. Tension back up here, okay? I want you guys to do, let's look at example 21, okay? 21. Given that the angle is a straight angle, find the value of x. What do we know about a straight angle? That is to 180, okay? I want you guys to work on setting up an equation for this. I want you guys to work on setting up an equation for this, okay?
Okay.
And salty.
And then solve it. Okay, you don't have to plug it in afterwards, you just have to find x. All we're asked to do is find x. So set out an equation and solve it for x, okay? Once you have that, or if you have questions, I want you to raise that hand of yours. Okay? Once you have it, or if you have questions, I want you to raise that hand of yours.
Oh, shucks. I'm down here.
Very good. You want to help check? Go. Agree with that, but don't agree with this. I agree with
No. Oh, that's it.
Yeah, I'll check. Go.
I guess.
Yeah, it's only two.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see you later.
64.
Oh, Why do we just do that again? Am I right?
36, 9,
Oh, what do you get?
96. 96 plus 84. 180.
Can I get a volunteer to come up and solve this on the board? Okay, I'm gonna have Riley do it.
Ew, why are they different
Hey,
colors?
Mac, do you want to find out if I can see these? Thank you.
So that you can like tell the difference. That's why well, no.
Because that means we need like a lesson of wasting time. Rude.
Yeah, I don't like this. It's very often it's meaning.
Quit talking crap.
Sorry,
Oh,
I wasn't.
teachers are not.
She talked to me first.
Okay, you know what? You get a pride moment. You're the one that sat down next to me.
This is where the teacher put me.
No, I did not.
I think I want to sit next to you.
You can go sit back there then.
What she said again.
Get him an MTSS or pride form or whatever that's called.
Yes, that's those middle school.
Hey, you get a pride form. I don't. Don't tell the teacher what to do. Ah! Shucks. I never. It's okay, Riley. You don't have to stay. Straight cut. You're welcome. No. Well, if you take 3x and 2x, it gets 5x, and then you add 20 and equals 180 because you do a straight line, yeah. And then you minus 20 from both sides, and you get 5x equals 160, so you divide by 5 and then Bye.
What did you do with the 96 and 84? Where'd that come from? I don't get it.
I forgot how to do it too. Okay, so I took used a calculator and I did so I can't be a teacher, I can't talk. And I did 3 times 32 to get 96 and then it's a lot of talking. 32 times 2 and a plus 20 get 84.
Now,
And then 84 and 96 equal 180.
why is that helpful? Like, why would you bother doing that? That's just extra work.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
actually
That's
told
extra
you.
work.
I don't know.
But, like, is there any use for that?
No, I don't know. You can check your answer. Thank you for the answer.
Yeah.
Like, what? How would you use that to check your answer, though? Like, what should you get? Like, how do you know if you're right or wrong? What? 180 what? Cows?
I was
180.
What about 180?
Nice.
I want cows.
What about 180?
Better not be 180.
What? I don't see 180. I just see 86 and 84.
You see one of these right here.
Yeah, but what about the 96 and 84? You said something about 180 with that.
When you add them together, you get 180.
Because that's what it starts with. Oh, thank you, Ms. Edmonds.
Hold on.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Hey, very good. Slap on the back, Riley. Okay.
That was depressing.
Here's flex. Okay. But I suppose. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and pass out a worksheet for us here. Okay. And we'll just actually have the rest of this time to work on that. Okay. Now, on numbers 10 through 12, you have to use a protractor. Okay. Now, I'm guessing most, if not all of you, do not have protractors at home or with you in your backpack. Okay, you might. Okay, but I'm guessing that most of you do not. And that's why I'm giving you guys some time here as well, so that way you guys can do numbers 10 through 12 here. So I would have you guys start with numbers 10 through 12. I suggest you guys start with numbers 10 through 12, because those are the ones that you have to have a protractor for, okay? You can do all the others without one, but on numbers 10 through 12, you have to have a protractor for, okay? Questions on that? Think, okay? I want you to do the whole thing, but I'm going to start with 10 through 12, because that's what you need a protractor for. Yeah.
When it says right,
Yeah, make sure you label an angle though, right? Okay. Hey, you guys can listen to music, okay? Feel free to listen to music. Just don't let that be a distraction to you, okay? So don't just like take like 10 minutes to set it up. Don't like be texting a Snapchat and okay, that kind of stuff. Just set up the music and then set it aside and start working, okay? I'm gonna play some music as well. I will. I was gonna say I was about to ask for requests, so